Maybe the solution to your decision is not the answer to your cause. Who knows? I know that's between you and God only. But I want to ask you today, is it worth it? Some of you have got the interpretation and attitude that you can do certain things and you can get away with it. Not so. Eve told Satan that God told us we were not to eat from the fruit, any of the fruit from this tree. Some of you have done this very thing, and you know that your family, and you think that your family, your friends, co-workers, whomever will never find out about it. But guess what? God sees all. He knows all. And He saw your end before your beginning. And so He knows what you're up to. He knows what you're doing. He sees what you're doing at night. Some of you have disobeyed God. We've failed Him many of times. But God still loves you. He still loves us. He still loves me. God still cares for you. He still answers your prayers when you think He may not even hear you. He still answers them. It may not be in the timing that you want, but they are answered. God's love for His children is unconditional. So no matter how many mistakes that you have made, no matter how many people you have cussed out, God still loves you. His love is unconditional. Hola, and it is a great Tuesday on today. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to my new and returning viewers. Welcome to this week's episode of Moments with MWARGJ. I am your host, Anthony Gartner Jr., and it is a great opportunity and pleasure to be with you all on this evening. Thank you once again for tuning in. May I ask that you step out of this live for a second and share this video. What is up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Thank you all for tuning in. This week's motivational moment of the week is, in our waiting, God is working. You may not feel that in your situation or your problem that you're facing right now, that something is in progress with God, and that He may not be answering your prayers. But let me rest assured and let me reassure you that He hears your prayers. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. So while you're in your car, God is working. While you're in your bed sleep, God is working. While you're on your job, God is yet working. While you're doing what you're doing, God is working. While you're taking care of your kids, God is working. While you're putting food on the table, God is working. So, be of good courage. Faint not in your well-doing. So God is working. Alright, and that kind of ties into what I'm going to talk to you about this week. And today's topic, this week's topic is God is going to do it. I said God is going to do it. Some of you that are watching me right now are on the edge of a breakthrough and just want to give up. Don't, because guess what? God is going to do it. This week I want to share with you a part of my journey with you all. Give me one second. In hopes that it will encourage you to keep on and continue the good fight of faith. I said continue the good fight of faith. On September the 26th, I was taken to the emergency room due to pain in my stomach. It was excruciating pain that was tied into my belly button. And let me tell you, it hurt. I was seen by the doctor. The doctor decided that he was going to do some orders and put in an order for an x-ray, a CT scan. The doctor began to put in the orders for me to get pain medicine. That was the best part of that emergency room visit. It sure was. You know, when you're in pain and to get something to relieve it, oh my God, you're speaking right now. All right. So being in pain was not fun. It was not exciting. It just was not a good thing. And to those of you that have been in pain and are experiencing pain right now, you kind of can attest to what I'm talking about. Sometimes being in a situation that you're wanting to be resolved can cause you pain physically, mentally, and emotionally. Sometimes it seems as if your prayers to God are unanswered. Maybe you think God doesn't hear you. Let me reassure you that God hears you. God hears the voices of His children, not just the good ones or the bad ones, but all of them. He hears you. He hears me. He hears all of us. Alright, and any evidence of this? 1 John, or 1 John to all of you that are proper. 1 John 5:14 says, "This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us." So anything that you may ask God, He hears you. And like I said, although you think He may not hear you, He hears you. And another scripture, alright, Jeremiah 29:12-13. "Then you will call on me and come pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart." So although you think God does not hear you, He hears you, like I said. Seek His face. Hear the voice of the Lord. The scripture says all you have to do is call upon Him, pray to Him, and He will listen. That's all you have to do. That is all that is required. Unlike man in the society that we live in today, there is no application to fill out. There is no money to be paid for you to have a moment of a person's time. With God, He gives us all the time in the world, but it is up to us whether we choose to take an advantage of His time. There is no charge, there is no fee, there is no retainer fee, there's none of that. Take advantage of praying to God. Take advantage of praying to your Father. He hears you, He hears your voice. Back in the emergency room, the doctor began to tell my father and I the results of the x-ray and the CT scan. Nothing showed up on the x-ray, but the CT scan showed that there was pneumonia seen in my lungs, in the upper part of my lungs, where they were testing actually where my stomach was, but they saw pneumonia up in my lungs. And so he gave me antibiotics to take care of the pneumonia. I did not have to stay in the hospital, thank God. And we left the hospital. A few days passed, and the pneumonia was still not getting better. I had to end up taking a visit to my primary doctor to get more medication, a stronger kind of antibiotics. I took those, and they told me, as they told me to do, and things were still not getting better. Facebook, YouTube, I said things were still not getting better. And you would think you got a stronger dose of antibiotics, why isn't this getting better? I had no clue. I had no idea. In fact, they were getting worse with the coughing, and I had shortness of breath very bad, to the point of the next week, that Monday, I checked myself into the emergency room, and they did tests, x-ray, CAT scan again, and the doctors found that I had pneumonia, obviously, and this time it spread to other parts of my chest. I said it spread to other parts of my chest. That was definitely not good. And I knew my body, and I knew something wasn't right. So good thing that I went ahead and I checked myself into the emergency room to get seen and get checked out. Doctors were confused as to why this was happening. They could not understand. You know, in the last 6 to 7 years after going through cancer, I accumulated pneumonia 3 to 4 times a year in the last 6 to 7 years. That's a lot, right? I mean, that's a lot. It was like a case of pneumonia every season. So you have winter, spring, fall. Winter. No, let me go back. You have winter, spring, summer, fall, all 4 seasons. To be on the safe side with all that had been going on and all that I had been going through, doctors decided to admit me into the hospital. I was okay with that. You know, the day went by and transport began to move me upstairs from the emergency room department. I had a lot of visitors during this time, and I'm not talking about family and friends. But you would have thought I was a famous celebrity because I had nurses, technicians, doctors, and everybody in my room. But they began to ask me questions, and soon after I went to bed, I was tired. You hear me, folks? I was tired. I'm not talking about T-R-I-E-D. I'm talking about how the slang put it, and they say, I'm tired, folks. Time to go to bed. I was tired. The next morning I woke up doing my normal routine, ate breakfast, watched TV for a bit. A therapist came in to do a test, and he wanted to do a test on me. And I was very familiar. Y'all excuse me for a moment. I was very familiar with this kind of test because I had already had it done twice before. And it was to test my ability to swallow. So they did that later that day. To make a long story short, they completed the swallow study and discovered that the barium or any liquid or food that I was given during the swallow study, instead of it going into my stomach, it went into my lungs. Yes, that's very scary. It went into my lungs and I didn't even know it because the damage and the going through radiation kind of damaged some things and a very important part of my swallowing ability. So food could have went in my lungs and I wouldn't have known about it. So that's how dangerous it was. So out of all of the bad news that I had received from doctors, and you know, all the doctors in my past years, it was very disappointing for them to tell me that, Anthony, Mr. Gardner, I'm sorry, but you are no longer able to have food by mouth. It was a big disappointment to me, but I had to remember God was still in control. And most importantly, God is going to do it. And He was going to do it. I had to go through several therapy sessions to regain my strength in swallowing due to the damage of radiation weakening my muscles and my ability to swallow. I had 2 swallowing tests in a 3-month period. In that time, I was praying and begging God to heal me. It was a struggle not to be able to eat. I want to take you all to the story of the woman with the issue of blood. This woman had a continuous bleeding for 12 years. She came in contact with Jesus and she met Him and she began to say, if I could just touch His clothes and the hem of His garment, I would be made whole. Some of you are so close to your resolution in your situation, and you are just this close that if you can just come in contact with it, you will be complete, you will be made whole. But are you holding on? Let me ask you this. Are you holding on Facebook? Are you holding on YouTube? Are you holding on to those of you that are watching me right now? Keep holding on. I encourage you, I admonish you to keep holding on. Don't let go, because the moment that you let go, you are putting your chance of victory and overcoming in jeopardy. I encourage you, I admonish you again. I want to push you to not let go. Keep holding on. You know, I'm going to be honest with you all. I normally do the devil has been very busy the last day or two with me continuing to do my show. But he is still defeated. And the moment that I wanted to give up doing my show this week, because I was going to take a break from doing my show this week to give my body some rest. But, you know, I said no, because I have people that are watching me, and I don't care how many viewers I get, just if I can just touch one life, that's all. I've reached my goal and accomplishing my mission that God has given me. But I continue on, and I did the show anyway, because I know that there's a purpose behind it, and someone is going to get healed, someone is going to get delivered. So I did my show, and I hope that you all can appreciate that. Phew, I got that out of the way. Let's continue. All right, when she touched Jesus' clothing, immediately she was healed. I said immediately she was healed. And so, the moment that some of you all, not some, but all of you that are looking for a breakthrough, the moment that you come in contact with the thing that you are really trying to get to or needing to desire, you are going to, immediately, you're going to be healed. You're going to be delivered. You're going to be set free. The debt that you are needing to be canceled, it's going to be canceled. The bill that you need to be paid, it's going to immediately be paid. So, continue to hold on. Keep holding on to the good fight of faith. The race is not given to the swift, but the one that endureth forever. So, keep holding on, so God is going to begin to work and turn your situation around, just as this woman was healed from her issue of bleeding. For 6 months, I had dealt with the fact that I could not eat anything in my mouth. No, that wasn't an easy task, and to sit here and there was moments and days where I said, if I see one more food commercial, I am going to scream. And, going through things like that, and you're trying to not think of, well, for my thing, it was food. I had to turn the TV, and sometimes I had to just turn the TV off because it was distracting me. It wasn't helping my situation. And sometimes I had to go ahead and open my Bible app, open my user version app on my phone, and begin to use scriptures that pertain to my situation that was going to help me and encourage me and push me to continue to fight the good fight of faith. I'm going to tell you, temptation is something, and there were days that I wanted to slip me a piece of chicken, to slip me a piece of fish, because I like fish, God knows I do, but I didn't, because I knew if I did that, I would be putting myself in jeopardy. And with the food going into my lungs, that was the reason that I was getting pneumonia. And the type of pneumonia, it was not a viral pneumonia, it was a dangerous pneumonia, that if food got in my lungs, it would cause fluid to get into my lungs and could cause me to go into passing away. So I had to think logically. I had to be smart about, not being able to eat my mouth. So while I'm yet enduring, I have to not be weary in well-doing. So some of you are, going through, but let me encourage you, don't be weary in well-doing. Keep on. I had, in having those 2 tests to determine if I was going to go back to eating or not, I continued to pray and speak to my own self. I said my own self that I will be able to eat again. And this is what I said. I said, I will eat again. I will eat again today. After having done these tests, looking for the result and answers that I wanted, I did not get it on the first 2 tries. It was disappointing, it was upsetting, and it made me sad that I did not get what I wanted. I was disappointed. I was upset, mad, sad, you name it, as they said when that Shirley Caesar song, you name it. Did I like it? Did I let that allowing that to get me down? No, because I knew that there was something greater for me. And there are some of you that are watching that, you know, that you may be disappointed, you may get mad, sad, all of the above. Don't let it get you down, because there's something greater on the other side. Because, you know, I would be able to eat again very soon. Although I did not get the results that I wanted, some good news is better than bad news. And there's some of you that have not gotten the result that you have wanted, but let me tell you, some good news is better than receiving bad news. The therapist began to tell me that my muscles and swallowing were beginning to come stronger. That was a plus for me. So I went through another 12 sessions of therapy, and you know, this time they allowed me to practice, eating my mouth. So let me tell you what I brought to therapy. I brought mashed potatoes and gravy. I brought baked potato. I wanted to bring fish, but that one brought me to another level, so I said, let me save that. But yeah, you know, and that's another thing. When you're wanting something from God, you gotta act like you want it. So if you want that new car, that new house, new job, that raise, that new whatever, you got to practice like you want it. So you got to go in there and with expectation. So I went in that every therapy session with expectation that I was going to eat after these 12 therapy sessions. And that's exactly what I did. This time, and every time that I practiced, I kept saying, God is going to do it. God is going to do this. Last week on Tuesday, it was scheduled for me to have another test done to determine if I would go back to eating. I was a bit nervous, I was shaking, you name it. But I went in with the good spirits. The report that I desired is the report that I got. Let me tell you that again. The report that I desired is the report that I got. They told me, you can eat my mouth at home. Boy, was I happy. I was smiling in good spirits. I was happy. And if I could do a dance, I would have, but I could not at the time. I started to smile. I started to laugh. Why? Because God did it. I said, God did it. God did it, Facebook. God did it, YouTube. And if He did it for me on last Tuesday, surely He can do it and will do it for you. God is no respecter of a person. He has no favorites. There is no big I's, no little U's. So whatever you ask of Him, He is going to do it. You hear me? He is going to do it. He is going to do it, Facebook. He is going to do it, YouTube. This is the time, this is the season, this is the hour that God, that whatever you so speak, He is going to do it. He is going to do it. I cannot stress that enough. Do not get faint. Don't get weary of well-doing. Continue to press on. He is going to do it. Wanting a new job? God is going to do it. New car? God is going to do it. New house? God is going to do it. New husband? God is going to do it. New wife? God is going to do it. New girlfriend? God is going to do it. New boyfriend? God is going to do it. Need a raise? God is going to do it. Need healing? God is going to do it. Need deliverance? God is going to do it. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And let me tell you again. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock. I said, knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. Walk in it. I said, walk in it. Go in it like it's nobody's business. Walk in it with expectation and know when you knew it was God that did it. I hope that you all have enjoyed what was spoken unto you all today and that it encouraged your hearts. Please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, what you saw. Until next Tuesday, God bless you and I love you to life. Greetings, everybody. I hope everybody has enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Hope that you have gotten something out of it. Before you get ready to get off live, I want to share a quick announcement with you, and that is get my book, A Chosen Child, A Story of a Survivor. Yes, that's me. I'm that survivor that's on that book. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, that's me. I, at 16 years old, on December 10th, 2013, was diagnosed with a rare cancer called nasopharyngeal carcinoma, otherwise known as throat cancer. It was a rare cancer that I was diagnosed with. And on April the 10th, 2014, I was declared cancer-free. And so many years down the road, about 2 or 3 years down the road, I decided, well, let me, share my story with someone. There's someone out here that needs to hear my testimony. Somebody that may not have the same cancer that I've had, that needs to hear a word of encouragement that will help them along the process and their journey. So I wrote this book as a guide, as a resource, as a tool for not only those that are going through cancer, but those that are going through whatever journey they may be going through in life. Doesn't even have to be cancer. Could be sickness, trouble, or something that they're going through in life. And so, regardless of what you're going through, you are a survivor. And what your journey is, it's a story because you are a survivor. You are, your journey is going to be a survivor, and it's going to be a story of the survivor, which is you. So I encourage you, go to my website at anthonyrgardner.com/ARGJ shop and get your copy today. They are $15. Plant a seed and support me. I promise you, you will not be disappointed in getting a copy of my book. Visit my website. They are $15. And get your copy today. And even if you don't get it for you or want to get it for someone else, be a blessing to someone else and get this book. But I encourage you, I admonish you, get this book. You will not be disappointed. I hope that you all enjoy reading this book, and I look forward to seeing your name on my order list. Thank you, and God bless you.